All right, everybody, welcome to the test play of the Dupli translation. This is our latest game from Silvervine Publishing. This time we decided to take a departure from our usual tabletop RPGs. We found a really awesome looking card game. It's an indie card game. It was actually kickstarted on the Japanese kind of indie Kickstarter site Campfire. And they actually did pretty good. I understand it's been selling pretty well in Japan, so we were really happy to get a hold of it. My editing assistant will be putting up high-res images of the cards as I describe them, because obviously they're a little hard to see like this, which is sad because, man, the art is really amazing. So basically, this game is a strategic tactical card game for between 2 and 4 players. The game is made up of 6 basic cards, all of which you can see right here. Using the normal rules, each player gets the exact same cards in their hand, and then the game plays out kind of like two-handed rock, paper, scissors. It'll make more sense as we explain it. Today I'm joined by my lovely wife, who will be, actually her hands, which will be assisting in the demonstration. And this will actually be our first time playing the game, so we're going to kind of muddle through it, and we're happy to have you with us. So just going through the cards one by one, and again, since they're very small right here, we'll have images up showing them. But what you're trying to do each round when you play your 2 cards is you're trying to have the highest number of power. And so all of the cards, most of the cards, as you can see, have little power indicators. And basically, each card has an interaction with other cards that either increase or decrease the power. So it's easy just to go through the cards one by one and kind of explain them. First of all is training. This represents... I didn't even explain the premise of the game. Okay. Well, let's start there, actually. So Dupli is a game about running a country. So you have just taken over as the king of this kingdom, and all the kingdoms around you are kind of eyeing you, trying to find some openings so they can come in and invade. And so you have to enact military policies to shore up your defenses while trying to push away anybody from the outside trying to get at you. And so each player represents kind of a kingdom that's trying to be on the national stage of kingdoms, trying to have the best policy that is strong without causing too much conflict within your own country. And so sometimes you have to rule with justice, and sometimes you have to mix a little tyranny in there, get a little that ruling with an iron fist to make sure that you are presenting a strong enough front that you don't get invaded. And so with that out of the way, now the cards will probably make a little bit more sense. So training represents, very simply, training up a military. It is the most basic card. As you can see, it has 1 power. It has no interaction with any other cards. This is your vanilla. If you play this, you will always have that 1 power point. Next up is tyranny. Tyranny represents, ruling with an iron fist, martial law, that kind of stuff. And as you can see, it gives you 2 power, so it wins against training. However, it can be reversed by justice. And so if you played this and your opponent played justice, the tyranny card would be flipped upside down, reducing its power to 0. And so that brings us to justice. Justice allows you to choose 1 tyranny or conscription card and flip them upside down, or flip both it and this card upside down. So if we have tyranny and justice played on the same turn, The tyranny would be flipped, become 0 power, and the justice would be flipped and become 1 power. So justice by itself is very weak, but when used against tyranny or conscription, which is another powerful card, it's able to eliminate your enemy's power while increasing your own. So each player has 2 of each of these 3 basic cards in their hand. And then we also have 1 copy of kind of these advanced cards. First of which is Conscription, which, as you can see, it has the highest power out of any with 3. This represents, calling all of your citizens to arms, total war state. But if it's flipped upside down by Justice, it becomes -2 power. So it is high risk, high reward. If your opponent plays a Justice on the turn that you play this, you're in big trouble. Unrest is a card that also counters tyranny and conscription. Basically, this represents that you're sending spies to enemy nations, that when those enemies try and kind of rule over their people too strongly, you can spread unrest and stuff. And so it has 1 power, and it also eliminates any player who has played tyranny or conscription. You can choose them and you can eliminate them from that round. That means that the cards that they played will kind of go off to the side and will be they have no impact on that round. And finally, you have Indoctrination. So this is training up your citizens to not doubt their leaders and things like that. So if you play this, it nullifies Justice. So it makes it so even if somebody plays Justice, their conscription and tyranny cards cannot be flipped over. And that's it. Every round, so everybody has the exact same layout. They have 2 Justice, 2 tyranny, 2 trainings, 1 conscription, 1 unrest, and 1 indoctrination. And every turn, we play 2 cards. And whoever ends each round with the most power, they gain all of the cards played that round. Those become their spoils. At the end of the game, the person with the most cards that they've won from those rounds is the winner. If there are any cards that have been set to the side due to unrest, because a player was eliminated from a round and their cards were set aside, those will be won by whoever wins the final round of the game. And so this is a game in which you know exactly the cards that your opponent has. So like I said, it's a lot like rock, paper, scissors. There's a very limited number of options available to both of you, and you know exactly what's in their hand, what's left. And so it's a game about reading your opponent, bluffing, trying to make sure that you're playing 1 step ahead, and the more cards you use, the less options you have. So knowing when to use your big cards and when to hold back is very important, because you never know how things are going to turn out. So easiest way to understand it is to see it played. So we're going to go ahead and just play out a full round. This game does not take very long. It's, I would say, probably about 10 minutes. It's the kind of game that you could sit down in a convention. Mix your hand together. You could sit down with buddies when you're waiting in line at a convention and play this. If you want to decide whose turn it is to go out and buy pizza on D&D night, sit down, play it for 10 minutes. So what we do is every round we select 2 cards and we play them face down. Now I have to try and figure out if my wife is the kind of person to play very large cards first, or is she gonna try and be sneaky?
Alright, well, I have no idea what I'm doing, so.
All right, that's how we learn. Okay, once everybody got their cards down, we reveal. Okay, so since I have a Justice, Sarah played a Conscription. So if this had gone through, she would have a total of 4 power, and I would have a total of 1 power. However, since I have Justice, that flips the Justice, and it flips the Conscription, meaning that she is at -1 power, and I am at 2 power. And that's how it goes. And so I won 4 spoils for that turn. All right, next turn. Okay. Oof. Wow, she got me. All right,
I don't know how, but I feel like it's good.
So actually, okay, so the way that it would resolve is you actually do Unrest and then Justice. So Unrest first. Usually, if there was if there was 3 or 4 players, you could choose which players you wanted to target with these cards. But since it's just me, so she played an Unrest and I played a Conscription. So anybody, or she can target one person who played a Conscription, me, and I am eliminated from this round. So what happens? My cards actually go into the side, where they will be picked up by whoever wins the final round, and she gets those 2 cards as spoils. Oh, I guess I do my spoils up so we can see them. All right. Oh, okay, so this time we didn't have any Justices to flip us upside down. So she did play Indoctrination, which if I had played a Justice, this would protect her Tyranny from being flipped.
Dang it.
So this time I just happened to win because I played Training with the Tyranny. So I have a total of 3 power, she has a total of 2.
I'm not doing very good.
It's okay.
It's okay.
All right, and this is our last round. So since we have an odd number of cards, you'll always get down to 3, and that's so that, you know, there's always an unknown in there. You don't know exactly what your opponent has left to play. Oh, and the one rule I forgot to mention is that Justice, the same player cannot play Justice and Tyranny or Justice and Conscription together. Those cards do not go together. Sorry.
That would have been good to know.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Okay, well.
Roasty.
I really only got.
Alright, fine. Okay.
Alright. Open. Okay, so she got my, since she did Justice and I did Tyranny, she gets flipped. She has 2 and I have 1, which means...
Wait. So this is my power?
Yes. So Justice flips both itself and the Tyranny card. So it becomes 1. It goes from 0 to 1.
I'm asking, how do I know which number?
Yeah, it's, well, since I guess with the camera we're trying to keep it a certain direction, but yeah. So you have 2 and I have 1. So you actually won this round.
Ooh.
Plus, you get to keep the cards that were eliminated from my hand.
What about the one that's in my hand still?
These ones are, those are discarded, and then we count up our spoils.
What is that? How do you count?
Just cards, just straight cards.
However many cards you have. I have 8.
I have 8.
Oh!
Yay! Tie!
This is not comfortable for me at all.
Alright, well, you want to play one more round?
I do.
Alright, now that we've kind of understand, so what you need to make...
Ties. Who can... No. You should not be allowed to have a tie.
2 Tyranny, or 2 Justice, 1 Rest. tyranny, unrest, training, justice, indoctrination, conscription, indoctrination,
I just need a conscription.
Yeah, conscription. I don't know what I'm thinking of shuffling the cards.
The backs of these are really pretty too.
Yeah, the art is really amazing. I think that not only is it a fun game, but honestly, it's just a great game to. It will be a great game to have just for the amazing, anime style art and stuff. What? I got a shill. Okay, all right. Let's see what we got to go over. What we got going on here.
You got the same thing going on with life.
Yep.
I don't know. We're just gonna do this.
All right, open. Oof. You keep getting me with that unrest. All right, so since she played unrest, it doesn't really matter what points she had because I played as conscription, which means I get eliminated from the round.
Haha.
My cards go to the side where they will be won by whoever wins the final round, and she takes her cards as spoils.
Oh shoot, sorry. Oh no. I wish you would play Justice when I play that one once. Just once.
So, okay, so you got unrest, so same thing as last round. Yours go aside, and mine go into victory. So I think this is one of those games where the more that you play with a group of friends, the more you kind of learn each other's styles. And obviously, if this wasn't like a tutorial video, then we'd be trash talking and bluffing a lot more. But it's simple. Our tagline for it is surprisingly simple yet deceptively deep. So unfortunately, since I did not play either conscription or a tyranny, the justices cannot flip, so they actually have 0 power. So I win with 1, basically.
Well, that's baloney. I don't like this game. I'm sorry. This game is amazing. It's so pretty.
All right, let's see.
Final round.
Yeah.
Okay, because my confusion here was I thought it was 1.
And then it flipped up to 0?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's the other way around. Right. So it's basically only a strong card if they play conscription or training. Okay, when we tie, we actually split the spoils. So we each take 2 cards, and since that was the last round, we also split the final.
Since we won this round.
Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3. I got 10.
I got 6. Alexa, off.
All right. All right, so that is Dupli, and hopefully that gave you a little bit of insight into the rules. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for folks, and
that's it.
Thanks for supporting our Kickstarter.